E1F Miscellaneous rules. External RF power amplifiers. Prohibited communications. Spread spectrum auxiliary stations. Canadian amateurs operating in the U.S. Special Temporary Authority. EEF 01B 97.305. On what frequencies are spread spectrum transmissions permitted? B. Only on amateur frequencies above 222 MHz. EEF 02C 97.107. What privileges are authorized in the U.S. to persons holding an amateur service license granted by the Government of Canada? C. The operating terms and conditions of the Canadian Amateur Service License. Not to exceed U.S. Amateur Extra Class License privileges. EEF 03D 97.315. Under what circumstances may a dealer sell an external RF power amplifier capable of operation below 144 MHz if it has not been granted FCC certification? D. The amplifier is constructed or modified by an amateur radio operator for use at an amateur station. EEF 04A 97.3. Which of the following geographic descriptions approximately describes line A? A. A line roughly parallel to and south of the border between the U.S. and Canada. EEF 05D 97.303. Amateur stations may not transmit in which of the following frequency segments if they are located in the contiguous 48 states and north of line A? D. 420 MHz to 430 MHz. EEF 06 A1.931. Under what circumstances might the FCC issue a special temporary authority start to an amateur station? A. To provide for experimental amateur communications. EEF 07D 97.113. When may an amateur station send a message to a business? D. When neither the amateur nor their employer has a pecuniary interest in the communications. EEF 08A 97.113. Which of the following types of amateur station communications are prohibited? A. Communications transmitted for hire or material compensation, except as otherwise provided in the rules. EEF 09 FCC Part 97.113A4. Which of the following cannot be transmitted over an amateur radio mesh network? C. Messages encoded to obscure their meaning. EEF 10B 97.221. Who may be the control operator of an auxiliary station? B. Only technician, general, advanced, or amateur extra class operators. EEF EED 97.317. Which of the following best describes one of the standards that must be met by an external RF power amplifier if it is to qualify for a grant of FCC certification? D. It must satisfy the FCC's spurious emission standards when operated at the lesser of 1500 watts or its full output power.